Alright guys, it is that time of the week again. We are back for our championship score predictions. Game week 9 already, and I can't wait to jump in. If you do go on to enjoy, make sure to leave a like. 300 likes on today's video would be massively appreciated. But without any further ado, let's jump in. Starting out with the Friday game, it's Sheffield Wednesday up against Sunderland. Sheffield Wednesday now the only championship side yet to win a match this season. Sunderland themselves are coming off the back of a defeat, a disappointing 1-0 loss to Cardiff. Albeit I thought Sunderland actually put in a decent performance, just nothing quite fell for them in the final third, and they got hit by that late sucker punch by Cardiff late on. Perhaps a vulnerability there from set piece scenarios that Sheffield Wednesday could look to take advantage of, but Sunderland the obvious favourites coming into this fixture. Now, while it would be typical of the championship for Wednesday to pull a result out of the bag here, I just think that offensively Sunderland will have too much for this Sheff Wednesday squad, and I'm still not convinced by that attacking threat that Wednesday possess right now. So yeah, the future of Zisco is very much up in the air as of recording. Score prediction in this game, I think I have to back the away side. Score prediction there, going to go 2-0 Sunderland, back them for a bounce back. After that, we got a huge clash between two of the relegated clubs from last season. It's Southampton going up against Leeds, and while we said a few weeks ago that this could be a decent time to be playing this Leeds squad while they're still figuring things out, I think that the puzzle pieces are starting to click now for Daniel Farke's men, and particularly on the road where they have been especially ruthless in some of their matches. I think that Leeds right now will be licking their lips going up against this Southampton squad, who have been absolutely all over the place from a defensive standpoint. We saw Middlesbrough creating an XG of over 3 goals against the Saints squad with how vulnerable that midfield and back line was at times, and with the attacking threat that Leeds possess, I really think that Southampton could be in for a tricky afternoon here. They've lost their last 4 consecutive matches by an aggregate score of 12-2 Southampton. Russell Martin really could do with pulling a result out of the bag here, but with how impressive Leeds have been on the road so far this season, how they're starting to click now in the final third, I'm struggling to look past them. Score prediction here, 3-1 Leeds, which will pile the pressure on Martin. After that, to Ashton Gate for Bristol City up against Stoke. Both sides coming off the back of a loss last weekend, so we'll both be looking to bounce back in this one. But I think it is Bristol City who come into this game as the overwhelming favourites. It was a narrow 1-0 loss they had to Leicester last time out, that late Jamie Vardy penalty being the difference between the two sides. I thought that Bristol City defended their box quite well for that game, but didn't have that much going forward. This is the sort of game where I expect to see them on the ball a lot more, and ultimately taking the game to a Stoke squad which is down and out on their luck right now. You know, they've lost 4 of their last 5 matches. They're yet to pick up a win on the road so far this season, and we saw the boos ringing around the Bet365 stadium after that 3-1 loss they had to Hull last weekend. Stoke could really do with pulling a result out of the bag here. I just think I've got more faith in Bristol City right now. I think that if Bristol City score first, Stoke could struggle to get back into this game. Score prediction here, I'm going to go 1-0 Bristol City. Fancy them for a bounce back. Next then to Cardiff up against Rotherham. Cardiff on an absolute roll right now. After 3 consecutive wins, they're up to 7th in the championship. They've got a relatively decent run of fixtures coming up, and they'll probably fancy their chances here against the Rotherham side, who are yet to pick up a point on the road all season. Now, I got to see the Millers in a little bit more detail over the weekend as they went up against my side, North End, put in a good defensive performance in that game, I thought, to sort of nullify the attacking threats of Preston, albeit didn't offer that much going forward. It was a bit of a wonder goal by Jordan Hugill, which broke the deadlock in that game. Score prediction here, I think it is probably Cardiff who I am edging towards. I think that Rotherham have been a little bit more susceptible to conceding high quality chances on the road. They've conceded 11 goals in their 4 away matches so far this season, and with the role that Cardiff are currently on, I'm going to back them here for a 2-0 home victory. Next then to Huddersfield up against Ipswich. It was a decent point for Darren Moore on Monday night, snatching that one late on against Coventry, but it's not going to be an easy game here as they go up against high flyers Ipswich. Kieran McKenna's side currently 2nd in the championship, unbeaten in their first 8 matches. They've had a flawless away record so far this season as well, winning all 4 matches they've had on the road, and they've kept 3 clean sheets in their last 3 away matches on top of that as well. Of their away games so far with Ipswich, they've all been fairly tight affairs, all have been won by a 1-goal margin. I think that's slightly what I'm feeling going into this game. I think that defensively, Huddersfield will be able to ride out some difficult storms, as they did in that game against Coventry. Obviously, then look to grow into it and have a bit more attacking threat as the second half went on. But Ipswich right now, everything seems to be falling for them. They're on a great run of form. Away form's been strong so far this season. I'm just going to back them for a 1-0 away win. Next then we go to Hull up against Plymouth. Now this is quite an interesting game, and a game where I can see quite a few chances being created for each side. Plymouth coming off the back of an unbelievable result last time out, putting 6 goals past Norwich, but the area that Steven Schumacher now needs to look at improving is probably Plymouth's away form. I think that home form's been really strong for them so far this season, and that will be a major asset for them long term if they continue to keep that up, but they're yet to get off the mark with a win on the road, and they have lost their last 3 consecutive away matches on top of that. Hull on the flip side, coming off the back of a really positive result themselves, good dominating display against Stoke City, putting 3 goals past them in that game. Some really nice interchanging play as well, lovely sort of football, building it out from the back, and then generally speaking it's two sides who tend to go about things in the right way. I am expecting quite an open game of football where both teams will have chances. Can definitely see both teams scoring here, albeit I think that Hull are a tad stronger at home than Plymouth are on the road. Hull yet to lose at home so far this season, let's not forget. A draw wouldn't totally surprise me here, but with a little bit of uncertainty about Plymouth on the road right now, I'm just going to edge Hull for another 3 points. Going to go 2-1 Hull in that game, but I can see both teams scoring. After that, we head to the den for Millwall up against Swansea. I do feel as if we'll learn quite a bit about Swansea in this match, and whether or not that result against Sheffield Wednesday last time out was just a flash in the pan, or whether it is a statement of things to come going forward from Michael Duff's side. Going up against this Millwall side, not going to be easy. I think that Millwall have reacted fairly well to losing that game against Leeds 3-0. Obviously responded with their own 3-0 winner themselves against Rotherham, and then had a solid point on the road against West Brom, which could have been all 3 had Zian Fleming stuck away that penalty. Don't think there'll be all too much in it between these two sides, and I think I'm edging towards a draw here. Score prediction, going to go for a 1-1 between those two, which slowly starts to get the ball rolling for Duff again. Then to Carrow Road for Norwich against Birmingham. Two sides who could really do with the result right now. Birmingham, their momentum has just stalled a little bit over these last few weeks. Goal scoring been a little bit of an issue for them. Just 2 goals now in their last 4 matches. I think that was evident in that goalless draw last time out against QPR. But surely this Birmingham side is licking their lips at the prospect of coming up against the Norwich back line that conceded 6 goals to Plymouth last time out. Now, Norwich absolutely have to have a reaction from that game. It's now 2 consecutive defeats for Daniel Farke's side. We have seen quite a significant tail off since the injury to Josh Sargent, and now with Ashley Barnes out as well. But the major flaws coming out from this Norwich side right now are in sort of defensive midfield and in their back four. Far too many chances being created against them right now, and they're far too easy to play against. With that being said, Blues haven't been the most free scoring of sides recently. I wouldn't be surprised if this one heads towards a draw. Score prediction here, going to go for a 1-1 between those two. After that, we go to Deepdale for Preston up against West Brom. Can Preston maintain this unbeaten start to the season? Well, we've been great at Deepdale so far this season. We've won all 4 of our home matches up until this point, going up against the West Brom side, who have been quite draw heavy on the road, of late. 3 consecutive draws on the road for West Brom. 2 of their last 3 results have ended goalless, and I wouldn't be totally surprised if this one was a fairly low scoring affair. Last time out against Rotherham, I actually thought that Preston got into some really good areas, but Rotherham defended their box really well, and ultimately we couldn't get that winning goal, and it ended all square. This game has the feeling it could end level, or Preston maybe just sneak it. I'm going to say with the added attacking quality we added towards the end of the transfer window, could come in handy in a game like this where the margins will be quite tight. Score prediction here, going to go 1-0 Preston, maybe for a Osmajic goal or a Liam Miller winner or something like that. After that, we go to Coventry up against QPR, 2 sides who are level with each other in the table right now. This is 18th going up against 19th. From a Coventry perspective, they just can't quite get that momentum going for them right now. It doesn't feel like they're a million miles away from the side they want to be, but from their 8 opening matches, 5 of them have ended level. It was another quite frustrating draw for them on Monday night against Huddersfield, with Huddersfield popping up with that last-minute equaliser. Coventry have now dropped more points from winning positions than any other Championship club, and felt like it's been almost the opposite end of that in recent years, where it would always be Coventry coming up with the late equaliser or late winner. But so far this season, that statistic has sort of been flipped on its head. Going up against a QPR side who I think have definitely improved from a defensive aspect so far this season, certainly in their recent matches. It was a solid point on the road last time against Birmingham. Asmir Begovic in top form along with that back line, and I think they will look to shut out those attacking threats of Coventry in this one. Albeit I don't think that QPR totally have all the attacking parts in place right now for this Ainsworth system. Score prediction here, I think it might be another draw for Coventry, you know. I'm going to go for a 1-1 between these two. After that, we head to Vicarage Road for Watford up against Middlesbrough. And I actually think that this has the potential to be a decent game of football. While both teams are currently in the bottom half of the table, Watford have been involved in a few high-scoring games lately. Obviously, at the weekend wasn't their finest performance against Leeds, but this is a decent chance to bounce back against the Borough side, who have struggled to find much momentum so far this season. Having said that, Borough really could build upon that positive performance from last time against Southampton. Still yet to get things going on the road, just 1 point from their 4 away matches so far this season. I think the motivation for Middlesbrough in this game has to come from the fact that if they beat Watford here, they'll only be 1 point behind them in the league, and suddenly could start to put that bad start to the season behind them if they do start to climb the league table. Score prediction here, I could see a few goals being scored in a fairly open match with two defences that have been a little bit leaky of late. Score prediction, I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw there. Fancy a few goals to go in. And then finishing things off at Ewood Park for Blackburn up against Leicester. Now, Blackburn have lost 3 of their last 4 matches, and Leicester definitely come into this game as the favourites. Having said that, I actually think that Blackburn's performances, even in some of those losses, have been fairly decent. They've been getting into some really good attacking areas, and I think they could cause Leicester some problems in this game. What's been their real Achilles heel so far has been giving away a few cheap goals and ultimately leaving themselves with too much to do in the final third. Leicester probably will fancy their chances. They've had a flawless away record so far this season. 4 away games, 4 wins so far, just 2 goals conceded in their 4 games on the road on top of that as well. Came through a pretty tough test last time against Bristol City, playing some lovely intricate football along the way, and I just think that attacking power probably wins out here for the away side. Score prediction, going to go 2-1 to the Foxes. But guys, there you have it. That will now wrap it up for today's video. If you did go on to enjoy, make sure to leave a like and do get your thoughts in the comments down below. Plenty of action to look forward to this weekend in the Championship, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on it all. But apart from that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.